my entire life growing up, I don't have a 4-year. I don't have a 2-year. I don't even have an associate's. I had a 1.8 GPA in high school. I was a math guy. I love calculus, love math analysis. I can do math all day long. Had no interest for anything else. Troubled teenage, kids got divorced, all this stuff. So my route was I'm going to go to the Army. He went to the Air Force. He was the Airman of the Year in the Air Force. So we're military. Tom's dad was a rocket scientist, literally was a rocket scientist. I'm not saying this as a... So Tom went, he became a professor, adjunct professor at Pepperdine, at Biola. He's probably had $2 billion of exits and raising money, so he goes to Silicon Valley. So when Steve Jobs and Bill Gates do that interview that 300 people worldwide are invited to be there, he's one of them. That's Tom. Tom's background is that. So Tom is academia, more coming from this side. But a part of it, I remember when I went to Harvard and for their OPM program, Owner President Management Program, you have to do $10 million a year to be able to go there. And I qualified. So I'm like, Tom's like, Pat, just go. I'm like, Tom, we're running a company. He's like, Pat, I'm telling you, go. We got the company. We're good. I hired Tom to be the president of our company at the time. So I go for 3 weeks. Now, let me tell you what time it is when I go there. I go during the debate between Hillary Clinton and Trump.
Oh, wow.
And I go to this chow hall. I thought chow hall, like, military. But this is a different chow hall, a CHAO. It's an Asian man that gave $100 million to Harvard.
Chow.
It's named after him, Mr. Wow. Chow.
That's
okay,
fun.
Chow Hall.
Yeah.
So I go to Chow Hall. There's 300 people from Harvard watching this debate. And I'm thinking, Jellywood, Vinny,
okay,
my seriously, do it fast. You're doing it slow so we can hear it. So I'm at this Chow Hall place, and I'm hearing these guys. And I sit in the sideline, say nothing. And it's the line, because you'd be in jail, right?
Oh, man.
Aren't we glad that a man like this isn't in the White House making the decisions and having control of whatever she says, because you'd be in jail, right? And boo! I'm like, it has to be 50-50 now. I'm like, I want to see 300 people in our room. It's got to be 60-40. I'm like, Trump just said something. The Trump people should root for him. Nothing. So this kept going for the 2-hour debate. Not 300 people are in Chow Hall. Not one person got up. The OPM program is a 3-year program. I'm supposed to go every year for 3 weeks. I go to my main person. I said, are you guys do you believe in debate? Of course we do. Is this a place where you guys entertain opposing ideas? Of course we do. Can I ask why 100%? So what do you think about Trump? He says, oh, he would be a terrible president. I said, why is it 100% of you all agree that Trump's a bad person? Why is that? I thought you guys are about debate. I said, I can't come back to the school. Never went back. Wow. I couldn't go back. The reason wasn't, I enjoy debate. I want to sit down with Stephen A. Smith and I were talking 2 days ago. Let's sit down and have a great conversation together. I love it. Yesterday I had a friendly debate with the lawyer for John Barnett, who is the lawyer for the Boeing whistleblower on, hey, he committed suicide. Some of the stuff just doesn't add up. A company lost $50 billion on valuation. No, he just loved Boeing. It was nothing bad. Like, I don't know. I got some questions. I'm curious, right? Let's have the banter. But when I saw that, I said, this is not a university. They're full of shit. Now, this is my opinion. You don't have to have that position. This is my position. Why? And then COVID takes place, and then you saw how extreme they got, and they say they're against for education. And then parents asked and said, hey, I know I'm spending this kind of money for my kids to come and stay in campus. Now you don't want them to be on campus. You want them to come from home. Can we get some savings? Nope. Harvard degree is worth the whole price. You got $60 billion in endowment. So all of these things made me go from, you're from Harvard? Oh my God. How are you? Dr. Roland G. Fryer. You're from Oxford? You're from this? You're from that? Tell, yeah, you know what? I don't know if you guys believe in debate. That's where my mind went to, because what I witnessed on Harvard campus for those 3 weeks. I could be wrong. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the individual faculty members involved. It really does. I mean, I ask myself all the time, who is Harvard? What does that even mean, right? And if you were to come to my class, for example, I teach an undergraduate class that talks about issues like how much discrimination there is in the world, whether or not what education policy should we have? What do we know empirically about the effects of slavery on current outcomes? And you have fierce debate in that class. And I think you'd be proud of what the students are doing in terms of different viewpoint diversity. If you go to other places on campus, it might be different. I don't know. So it's a big place, but it doesn't surprise me what you've described.
Rob, can you pull up what I just texted you? I just literally Googled this right now, because you know how you can go and find out and say, the article came out saying what percentage of Twitter executives and employees donate to the left or the right? And then it was like 99%. I'm like, what? And then, have you ever seen this chart or no? Rob, can you pull up that chart? Because that's public. It's not hard to kind of find. It's all over Twitter, and we have it. And then I said, okay, let me go a little bit further. This is different. This is just, let me go show to the top. Harvard Corporation members donated heavily to Democrats ahead of the 2022 midterms. Look how much of it's red. You got the Pritzker family, heavy duty. You got the Wells. There's zero red. There's zero bipartisan. The only person that is Paul Finnegan, and slightly red, all blue. This is pretty much 95% is all blue. So now, does it mean blue is right and red is wrong? Does it mean conservative policies and living a conservative life fiscally is a bad thing? Does it mean maybe if I go to Harvard, I have to be a liberal if I come out of Harvard? Because if all these smart people at these places, God forbid, if I'm a conservative at a place like that, I may get ousted. You know, and I know you have a very, very good relationship with Claudine Gay. And I know you guys are best friends.
Yeah, barbecuing, and, hanging out.
You know, you were having breakfast with her this morning, which was great. But so you hear a Claudine Gay, and you come out and you report this win in 2016, 2017. I Googled literally right now to see your article about, New York Times, Star Economist, writes this article. And that was in 2017, okay, whatever it was, right? And then they're telling you what you're doing. The next one comes out. Star economist at Harvard faces sexual harassment complaints. And I went through your tweets. There was nothing about your tweets that was sexual. They were actually funny. You're like, maybe if I didn't spend so much time studying stuff, maybe I'd be better in sex. Yeah. I'd love to go to France. I actually looked at your tweets.
Text.
Your text. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we all probably talk like that every once in a while, right? So then they come after you. Then Claudine Gay, behind closed doors, is trying to talk to Larry Bobo, I don't know who it was, trying to get you to lose your tenure. This is pre her being president. And do you kind of sit there and say, dude, are we not protected? I mean, am I not... Are you guys not trying to target me? Did that thought at all cross your mind that this school doesn't like some of the positions? And Claudine Gay, maybe the average person on the left would say Claudine Gay should probably defend you, right? If you're really about, he should be on my side, right? When you were going through that, and obviously I'm not telling the whole story, but when you were going through that, how are you processing all that experience?
It was hard to process it. And what I focused on was what I could do better, really. Right? Like when anything happens in life, you have a choice. You can either look in the mirror or you can look out the window. And the first thing I do is look in the mirror. And you're right. It's debatable whether or not telling jokes is worth that kind of penalty. But maybe I shouldn't have told them, right? And so,
do you really believe that, though? Do you really believe that?
Yeah, the first thing I did was I went to executive coaching because I didn't understand, right? Like I know it's maybe hard for some people to think, well, you're a Harvard professor, you must know better. We talked about how I got to be a Harvard professor. And nowhere in that journey was management training. Nowhere in that journey was, hey, I am very, very casual. Right. So when I think we're friends. And so I feel like we can talk about anything. If you have Thanksgiving at my house, then I feel like we can banter in any way we want. Mm-hmm. It's just the way I roll. Mm-hmm. And so it never dawned on me that, for years I had lots and lots of students at my house for Thanksgiving. And so those students I had a different type of bantering with than ones that didn't. And so I treated my, workplace for people who, I knew well, like my living room, and I shouldn't have done that. And I don't know if it truly hurt someone. They said it, a few years later. They said it did, and if it did, my God, I'm sorry, because that's not what I had intended. So it's really not about what I believe. It's about what could be and whether or not I can actually change my behavior. So that I've done. Now, what was I thinking during that whole process? It was very, very confusing. And I had to figure out if I could actually do the work I wanted to do at a university. And more importantly, I had to figure out, because the world was treating me very differently from Monday to Tuesday during that time in my life, how I could still be on this mission to have impact. How was I going to get the work done that I needed to get done if I couldn't publish here or talk about academic papers there or have research assistants or what have you? How was I still going to make a difference? And that's what I was truly focused on.
Yeah, I mean, you sound very nice.
It's not about nice, man. I want to be effective.
Yeah. No, I get that. But to me also, from the outside, do you think the approach they took to get it public and the way it was a form of trying to embarrass you a little bit? Was it a form of making an example? Because that could have been handled privately, no?
Yeah, it felt personal.
Okay.
It felt personal. But again, maybe I'm being, you call it nice, but